Listen at this. In this quick age where we want everything now, if we don't get it now, we quit. Give it some time. Give it some focus. Until you can clap for the seedling, you will never see the tree. Because you're so busy trying to compete with the trees that you haven't gone through the process of the acorn. We think about our lives in decades. I was from the 60s, but we plan our lives in days. Very few people have a plan for the next 10 years. You're in love with tomorrow, but you're neglecting today. And when God sees you neglecting today, He will not give you tomorrow. But until you learn how to appreciate where you are in the process, you won't get the power to evolve to your ultimate destiny. So you need to take your eye off of the tree and water what you got now.
When you want something out of life, don't worry about how you're going to get it. The most difficult thing it is to hold the vision. You want to be persistent about what it is that you want to achieve.
Promising yourself you will never give up. I ask the kids, how long should a baby try to learn how to walk? How long would you give your average baby?
How many times will your baby attempt to walk and fall and you just say, just sit down, don't try anymore. You've fallen 20 times.
Any mother in the world would say, you're crazy. My baby is going to keep trying what? Until. What a magic word. Until.
Don't get caught up in, well, I've tried it 5 times and things didn't work out. If there's something that you want and you're hungry for it, you've got to do whatever is necessary until. And don't give up on yourself. Many people give up on the 1-yard line. Oh, no. See, life is not just that simple. And that's why most people never realize their personal greatness. They're casual about life. And when you are casual about life, you will end up a casualty.
Promise yourself you'll read the books until your skills change. You'll go for it until you understand it. You'll practice it until you develop the skill. However long that is. Step by step, piece by piece, book by book. Go for it. Don't miss the chance to grow.
No matter how long it takes or how difficult it is, when it's all said and done, you'll be able to say, I'm still standing. I know I am a victor and not a victim. I'm having some big challenges, but I know I serve a big God. I know I've been armed with strength for every battle. As long as God has given me breath to breathe, I'm going to keep pressing forward, believing for His very best.
How can you measure the success of a year if you don't have a long-term goal in mind? You evaluate the year, not whether good or bad happens in the year. People gonna die this year. People gonna get sick this year. Things are gonna happen to you that's not fair this year. That happens every year. There will be no magic years as it relates to life. There will be no years like that. There's always going to be shocking news, and there's always going to be years full of good and bad.
Nothing that has happened to you can keep you from your God-given destiny. God would not have allowed it unless He had a divine purpose.
God said, I will take the bad things and make them work for your good if you have purpose. If you keep your mind on what your purpose is, they'll curse you and I'll make it a blessing. They'll walk over top of you and I'll choose you and bring you from the back row to the front row. There's always going to be somebody crazy in your family. It's always going to be somebody who don't want to treat you right. That is life. Look back over 10 years in your life. What happened? And what have you learned from it? If you don't learn from what you lost, you have no profit. Why would you have that much pain and no profit? I want this year to propel me into my destiny. If it's just but one step, I want to make one step closer so that when I get to the next 10 years, I am ready for that stage of my life. This will be a transformative year. It is not the movement of the clock that produces the newness of life. It is the movement in your mind. God is about to transform your thinking, your mindset. The enemies that you see today, you will see them no more. No weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. The Lord said that there's more inside of you than what you have perceived. I'm tired of doing what I used to do. If I always do what I've always done, I'll always be where I've always been. I'm going to throw it behind me. This is your year of transformation. Don't let the habits of my past stop me from this metamorphosis. What separates us is transformation. The passion to get up off the ground and stop eating dirt. This is my time.
In other words, there were behaviors and thoughts you've had in the past that were needed to produce the results you currently have. But you need to stop what's no longer needed. So ask yourself that question. What do I need to drop that's no longer needed? Is it a behavior? Is it a person? One of those things you probably are carrying with you from the past, but that thought, that behavior, that person is no longer needed for you to go to the next level of your identity, the next level of yourself. If you're stuck in a story. Right now, if you say, Ed, I'm kind of stuck where I am. But what you need to do is you need to alter your associations. You need to do something in a short window of time and evaluate the story you're telling yourself. Maybe it's a story about your past, a story about your parents, a story about a success you used to have. You keep talking about that doesn't serve you to get to the next level. Every second you spend in that old story about what you've achieved, some business you had, every time you live in that story, you're stripping time and focus from the new story. What's the old story you keep repeating? Maybe it's not a success. Maybe it's a failure that you've had. You can't take that old story into the new identity. What's your new story? Who are you now? See, here's what's amazing. At any point in your life, you can just decide to write a new script. And guess what? You and God control the script. Listen to me. At any time you want, you can simply decide to be a new character. Stop telling the old story. Here's the truth. Nobody cares. And that old character you keep playing is the very thing that will prevent you from becoming this new version of you. Just awareness of the power of identity puts you in the 0.1% of all the people on the spinning earth right now.
what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind. Fly.